Yo, what is good, YouTube? We are back with another video. If you guys are not in the free Discord, go join it. It is the first link down below. We're going to do a quick video on how to spot bearish and bullish breakers, right? So we're going to get right into it. The first example over here is the bearish breaker, right? So the formation of a breaker on a bearish breaker would be a high, a low, a higher high, and then we slam down through this low. And then these down close candles become your bearish breaker, right? And then we come up, tap it, and continue, right? So the opposite for bullish breaker, we have a low, we have a high, we have a lower low, and then we break through this high, come down, retest it, and continue. It is the last up close candle in the bullish breaker, right? So we're going to go over a few examples, right? These are very easy to understand. So if you don't fully get it, I mean, just rewatch this video. They're very simple to understand, right? So right here on the 30-minute chart, right? So we're going to go over a 30-minute. I don't really like using hourly or 4-hour breakers. You can use them, but that's just my thing. I just don't like using anything over the 1 hour for bullish and bearish breakers, but you can obviously. So right here, what do we see with this low right here? We have a high, we have a lower low, right there. So this is your turtle soup, right? And then you see 930. This is open, so we have a 930 Judas, close within the range again. And then we break above and close above this high right here. So what candles become your breaker? These up close candles, right? So these up close candles now become a breaker, right? So these are your breakers. So we'll save that because I actually don't have, oh yeah I do, never mind, oops. So breaker right here, we come down, tap into the breaker, and this is where you can go down to the lower time frame, right? How far back is this? Yeah, we should be able to go down to the 1 minute. Now we are down on the 1 minute chart, and as you see right here is that 30-minute breaker. Right here is that break above the highs and the closure above. What do? We slowly trade down back inside this breaker, and we still have not yet reached the draw on liquidity, which is up here, right? So we come down, we trade back inside this breaker, and then you get this displacement out, right? So we have equal highs up here as well, and then we continue up to the draw on liquidity the rest of the day. Now, what would become the breaker on the 1 minute chart here, right? These two up close candles. So we trade up, break through these lows, and then we finally trade back above these highs. Now this example, we actually do not come down here and tap these breakers, but this would be your breaker on the 1 minute chart. So that is a example on the right here. We can actually use this example right here. What do we have? We have accumulation, we manipulate higher, creating a higher high, and we haven't reached that lower time or the 30-minute draw on liquidity, which was right here. We trade higher. Where do we go? These down close candles, right? So we have these acting as our breaker to push us to that 30-minute draw on liquidity. Trade into it, then we trade out of it. Then what do? We have a high and a lower low. Right here's your turtle soup at this swing low. Displace above that high, so what candle becomes your breaker? This candle becomes your breaker, right? Now, whatever your bias is, you can see that we tap this breaker a couple times and then continue out. Whatever your bias is, that is the way you have to be using breakers. You can't just free ball them, right? Like right here, we create a lower low, displace above it, this would be your breaker, but we still have lower to go as of now. So right here, what do we see? Accumulation. We soup all of these lows, break above the high. These candles right here, they become your breaker. Trade into it, trade up, we trade back down into that 30-minute breaker, right? So let's go over an example that happened yesterday. What happens here? Trade higher, trade lower, taking this swing low. So this becomes your turtle soup. Oops, not SMT. Turtle soup. These up close candles become your breaker. Tap into the breaker, continue higher, right? This is how simple spotting breaker blocks are, right? And as you see, we take out all these lows, right? We take all these lows. We had equal highs somewhere up here yesterday. I don't remember. Oh, they were right here. These highs right here that were acting as the obvious draw on liquidity. Tap into this 5-minute breaker, continue out of here. Now we'll just spot some 1-minute breakers because they're super easy to see. what happens right here, right? This is today, right? I took a trade today, and I actually just realized this, but we'll go over it in a second. Right here, what happens? We have a high, low, we break above this high, but the draw on liquidity is lower. That's why you have to understand the draw on liquidity. So this becomes your turtle soup. What candles become your breaker, right? We have these 3 down close candles, and we have this down close candle right here. You can use either one of them, right? As long as your stop is permissible to trade higher and then continue lower, it doesn't matter which one you would use, but I would use these 3. Why? Because we have a fair value gap aligned with these breakers right here, right? You always want to, not always, I shouldn't say that, but it is more high probable if you have a fair value gap within the breakers. So these become your down close candles, right? Swing low that broke through the high. So this becomes your breaker, right? Trade up into it, trade lower, right? And what happens right here? Turtle soup of a swing high, low, higher high, break through that low. Breaker. Right there's your breaker. Boom. Come up, tap into it, displace out of here, and then we continue lower the entire rest of the day until now, since we're getting this retracement. But this is how easy it is to spot breakers, right? Even if I just go to right here on the 1 minute chart, you can see, oh, this was yesterday, so this is that 5 minute breaker, but this up close candle becomes your breaker, high, lower, low, break above the high, hold this breaker, fair value gap, continuation, right? So what becomes your breaker right here? We have a low, higher high, taking this high, breaks through it, but we don't close below any of these swing lows until this candle right here. We close below a swing low right here. You can use this as your breaker. What happens? Trade up into it, also paired with what? A fair value gap, continue lower, right? So we can look for another one, right? But you always need to understand the draw on liquidity. If you don't understand the draw on liquidity, then this is literally not going to matter at all, right? Let's find one more. We don't take that swing high. There might have been an SMT there, would be my guess. 930, where are you? Right here. What happens here? Take this swing high. Turtle soup breaks above the high. What happens here? Fair value gap aligned with what? A swing low. That becomes your breaker, right? Swing low, breaks above the high, displace below it, fair value gap inside of the breaker, continue lower, right? And then even right here, this one's actually really nice, right? What do we have? Equal highs, traps longs, fair value gap right here. This becomes your turtle soup. Swing low, swing high, breaks below this swing low with a fair value gap, breaker, short, boom, delivers to this low. So you guys see how easy this is to spot. I mean, they're very simple and easy to understand. As long as you have the draw and liquidity right, you have to understand the draw and liquidity if you want to be trading breakers and fair value gaps, right? If you don't understand the draw, then none of this even matters. So this was just a quick, simple video of how to spot the breaker, because some people will mark up close candles as a breaker and they're not. For a bearish breaker, and down close candles for bullish, they're not. So this is bearish breakers and bullish breakers. I hope you enjoyed the video. Join the free Discord. I'm out. Peace.